what it was. Y'all know who it is, and you turned in with Priceless Knowledge yourself, and I figured I'd put y'all down with a little cosmic insight this afternoon. And say, man, we're going to kick back off into this moon series, but in doing so, we're going to keep it in the spirit of this little eclipse we had earlier. So this right here, this a little something about those people that have the moon in Sagittarius in their natal chart. But before I even go there, you already know what the fuck I'm going to have to do first, even if it gets on your nerves. I'm going to bring you a little bit about the moon in astrology and also give y'all a quick breakdown about the sign of Sagittarius in astrology. So let's get it cracking, huh? What is the moon? The moon rules the fourth house of the zodiac as well as the sign of Cancer. It represents our instinctive awareness, our emotional nature. It can represent the relationship we have with our mother or the lack thereof. It's all about how we see ourselves. It's who we are before we put our mask on, which is kind of what the rising sign is. In Vedic astrology, the moon is about the mind. But, I really think it's just all about how you internalize things. The moon is the closest celestial body in relation to Earth and the whole entire solar system. So it really has the strongest effect on our moods and personality on a day-to-day basis. Just like the Earth is 65% water and the moon has this effect on its tides, your body is 65% fluid. So think about the effect that the moon has on this. In your natal chart, the moon plays a big part in the big three that consists of the sun, the moon, and the rising. And I'll tell you, the sun is your spirit, your ego. It's kind of the whole thing. The rising sign is how you come across to other people and kind of, your personality a little bit, what you're projecting. Your moon sign is who you really are. It's, how you are inside. It's how you feel. And the thing is, not everybody's going to get to meet your moon sign because it's something sacred and you usually only show it to people you're most comfortable with. And sometimes we never get that comfortable with anybody in our whole lives. So they never get to see that lunar light shining. The moon is all about how you feel though, man. And so what is the sign of Sagittarius? The sign of Sagittarius is the ninth sign of the zodiac. It rules the ninth house. It's ruled by Jupiter and it rules over the hips and thighs. Its symbol is the centaur or the archer, depending on who you ask. And its mantra for me is, I see. This is mutable fire, y'all. And I like to think of Sagittarius as the wanderer energy of the zodiac. This energy is all about seeking truth. And the best way to do that is to hit the road and have experiences and learn on the fly with them. Knowledge and wisdom are key here, and it comes through having a broad-minded approach to shit. They want to be free to learn. Sagittarius is about freedom. The Sagittarius sign is keenly interested in philosophy and religion, and this is always kind of the true internal quest with this energy. It wants to be free to seek out the meaning of life in a big way, and with Jupiter's influence, wherever Sagittarius shows up in the chart, it's gonna do it big. You know what I mean? It's beautiful and optimistic energy. But, every energy has its faults. So, what happens when you're born with the moon in Sagittarius in your natal chart? When I think of these people, I envision a motherfucker so tilted optimistically towards the horizon, they probably walk on their motherfucking toes, man. Sagittarius is a sign of leaps in faith, while the moon can represent your gut reaction. So Sagittarius moons are born with the inherent trust in life and are often willing to take risks that a lot of us aren't willing to take, and that's based on instinct, which is why so many visionary pioneers are born with Sagittarius moons, because they're not scared to take a risk. They're not scared to go explore. This is an explorer's heart, They typically have a really lighthearted soul with an instinct to follow the most meaningful path that's for themselves, not what anybody else set out for them. They have to be free to find their own path and their own meaning in their life. They're the type to get extremely impatient with motherfuckers that choose to play the victim, but are always, willing to cheer a motherfucker on that has the courage and fortitude to test their limits. Because they have the courage and fortitude to believe in themselves enough to test their limits. People born with their moon in Sagittarius believe in themselves. For real. Sagittarius moons are usually inherently engaging and charismatic, so they're easily able to hold their own in large gatherings and group projects. They are very sociable people because they want to experience and learn. They're outgoing, and pretty spontaneous nature makes them the type of people who would just pop up on your ass and make you get in the car with them. And they're also the type of people that once they pop up on you and you get in the car with them, they ain't taking your ass back home. Not when you want to go home. They're the people that you kind of know not to get in the car with their ass, because they're not going to take you home when your ass want to go home. And it don't mean y'all going to be doing anything crazy. Y'all going to be having fun, learning, experiencing. But if you not a Sagittarius moon and you ready to go home, it's going to be hard for you. They're very open people who are often, optimistically inspiring and can really build people up by how they make them feel with the way they talk to them. They know very philosophical things that'll help you out in your life if you pay attention to them. They're born with the spiritual understanding inside their heart. Moon and Sagittarius, they probably had a very encouraging or laid back type mom that allowed them to be free to feel. And what they really want is validation for how smart they are. Or they had just the type of parenting or the type of mom that had very strong beliefs in their home growing up. And this manifested in a person with an extremely philosophical and spiritual, emotional nature. They're born with this inherent need for freedom, and they have the soul of a traveler, man. They really do. And they do best to go with the partner that's like on a similar or parallel path with them, And when I say they have this extremely philosophical and spiritual emotional nature, those born with their moon in Sagittarius, they know inside their soul that there's something greater than themselves. They never question God. They might have struggles with faith inside of them, with believing in things that they haven't experienced, which gives them this thirst for experience. But at the same time, they know God. The 9th house is God. And they know him inside their hearts. While they love passionately, they're never going to be the clingy type either. And they're not going to appreciate that shit either at all. They not going to handle any clinginess or possessiveness or jealousness in their interpersonal relationships. Cause like I said, they need to feel free more than anything else. And if anything fucks with that, they gotta go. They're gonna switch up on you probably. Their comfort zone needs to encompass a home and work life that's fast paced and meaningful and varied. Like whatever they're doing, it has to mean something to them. When they're working, they're the type to be questioned, like, why are we doing this? What's the good in this? How is this going to help anything? You know what I mean? Because they have a belief in something greater. They have a spiritual knowing of kind of how it all fits together in a big picture way. I say that too. They're not too much detail people. This ain't Virgo moon. But Sagittarius moon, they have a real understanding of how it all fits together in a big way. The most devoted commitment that these type of people could make with you, or to make to anything, pretty much, is to their own freedom. And to be honest with you, that they're going to need to experience whatever they feel. And whatever they feel is going to need to be spiritually nourishing for them. And the minute that they feel that your relationship with them ain't spiritually nourishing for them, or beneficial for them, then they're probably going to switch up on you. And this switching up on you is not really your fault, and it's not really their fault. And it's not really something that's malicious like some of us would take it, like myself with a Pisces moon who would take it personally. You know, it's just the fact that they're honest. And if they ain't feeling it no more, there's no use being fake about it. They got to deal and go far. You know, boredom and complacency are these people's mortal enemies. And they always keep their eyes on the future when they're in their highest forms. And in a lower vibration, Moon and Sag folks may have tendencies toward being really reckless and detached, even careless and superficial, and definitely might come across as the wishy-washy types, you know. In short, like I said a minute ago, these motherfuckers will switch up on your ass. And it's at the drop of a dime for what you might perceive as nothing. But for them, it's for their freedom. They don't believe that this is going to work, so they don't believe in putting in more energy into it. So they got to go. And sometimes this need for freedom that they're always seeking is going to be at the cost of other people's feelings. And that ain't cool, is it? Or is it cool that you weigh them down with is it not cool that you weigh them down with your feelings? It's kind of paradoxical and it's kind of fucked up both ways. You know, not to mention, this placement is more connected to what I would call a living truth than any imposed ideology. And they don't give two shits about being politically correct at all. They are going to speak on how they feel, and fuck if you don't like it. So my advice for y'all that have Sagittarius moons is that hopefully somewhere while y'all are seeking out y'all's truths and freedom, you know, as y'all always will do, hopefully you'll find a reason to truly believe in being loyal to something or somebody. Because there's not too many times that a motherfucker gonna be tolerant of getting switched up on, or you going to see if the grass is greener on the other side and then want to come back home like nothing happened. And be like, man, I just wanted to see and I had to see, and expect us to understand. So let's be mindful of that. You know, before you lose somebody that really down for you. Okay? Hey, man. There's been some priceless knowledge of self. If you fooling with me at all, please like, share, and subscribe. Even if you ain't fucking with this particular video, man, hit that like button so I can get out there and help somebody else. I appreciate all the love and support. If you're interested in any astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And say, man, understand, no matter where the fuck you got the moon at, no matter where the fuck you got the sun at, no matter where the fuck you got Venus, Mars, Jupiter, no matter what house Pluto's in, you ain't got to manifest any of these negative traits, man. Leave it alone if you can't use it. Just because the energy's there, don't mean you got to utilize it. A hammer is just a hammer. You know what I'm saying? It only becomes a weapon if you hit somebody in the head with it. Just because you built like that don't mean you have to build like that. Hey, I'll be back in a minute with a little something about those people that have the moon in Cancer in their natal chart. You're going to get cardinal. All right, y'all.